Welcome back to the Pup List. This is episode 2. Coming right at you. My name is James.
I'm Adam.
And let's get right into it. You know what? This is the greatest time of the season. I swear to you it is. We got NHL playoffs. We got NBA playoffs. It's
the greatest unless you're a Chicago fan.
Well, yes. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but we are fans of the Blackhawks and the Bulls. We are from Chicago, and you could just totally tell we're from Chicago, right? Right? Yeah, exactly.
Mine does have the little Chicago flag on it.
Oh, yes, it does. All right. But we do know this is a podcast, and we know that we're going to be more about the national site. So you know what? Let's go straight into the NHL playoffs, which I'm going to just let you know that, NHL, we know a little bit about it. Just a little bit. But we're going to go through our trusty notes right here of what we have first, of course, is Nashville and Colorado. All right, let's go down the line, give our little predictions on who's going to win the first round, and then we're going to give you the champion. So put that money on the ones that we say, because we sort of know what we're talking about. So Nashville, Colorado, what we got?
Say Nashville, I think they'll get rid of them pretty quickly. Just Colorado, they got Landeskog. They're a pretty solid team. It's just from how Nashville played in the playoffs last year, where I think they should have won. They should have. Things went wrong. The way they destroyed the Blackhawks the first round, but couldn't get by in the next two.
And they
I think Nashville, as long as Rene plays like he normally plays, as long as he's not on top of his game, I think they'll be able to get rid of Colorado pretty quickly. Plus, Nashville's offense is a little too powerful for the defense and the goalies situation Colorado has. So 7 first round, right?
It's 1-8 first round. Yeah, 7 game series.
I think they get rid of them 4-2.
Very nice. You know what? You're giving Colorado a little bit more credit.
Just because the two home games, I think they'll be able
Colorado will squeak out 2 games.
Something at home.
All right, fine. I'll go with Nashville 5. I honestly think Nashville is a juggernaut. Well, everybody knows they're a freaking juggernaut. But Colorado, too young, too inexperienced. They haven't made the playoffs in the last 2-3 years, even with the young team that they had. And they're pretty much new and whatnot. I say Nashville in 5. All right, Winnipeg, Minnesota. I don't know shit about Winnipeg, but I know that they just know how to score goals, I believe.
They do, but
man.
Winnipeg could be dangerous. I view Minnesota kind of the same way as Nashville. Like the past few years, both of those teams, it was kind of like the whole Royals story from 2 years ago. Like, oh, this team's going to come up this year. And then the 1 year they managed to get. I think even though Winnipeg's a good team, I think Minnesota will find a way to win the series. I think it'll probably go 6 games.
I see that too.
But I still think Minnesota will find a way to win when it matters.
I agree. I feel like Minnesota is just more playoff ready. I see them in 6. Vegas, the Golden Knights, and the LA Kings. That's the next matchup we got in the West. That's a tough one. That's honestly, you know what? And you know what? I think everybody is saying this. This is the sexy pick. This is the sexy underdog pick. And I'm riding that bandwagon. I got the Kings in the series in 7.
I think the Knights are going to win. Just the main weakness I see on the Knights, I wouldn't trust Fleury or their backup goalie. But they do have enough offensive power and defensive skill that if you have a good enough defensive team, you can kind of shield weak goaltending. The Hawks did it the year they won with Niemi and with Huey. The Devils, when they won, Brodeur was on his way out, and they won with strong defense. If you have a good enough defense and a quick enough offense, you can kind of hide the fact that your goalie isn't what he should be. So I think the Knights can win this round. I think probably gonna go far. It's probably gonna go 6 or 7 games.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, I think Vegas will most likely be able to get the Kings because the Kings are good. It's just they're kind of like the Hawks were, where it's been a while. I mean, it's not been a while. Hawks won in 15, but it's kind of been a while since the Kings won. They're back in the playoffs now,
They're
but
that team, man.
they are.
They're
But
that team that once they get to the playoffs, doesn't matter what seed they are, all of a sudden they just start winning. Their defense just gets bulked up, and somehow they just stop teams.
they could, but you also got to realize that defense from the year they won those 3 cups. That defense is that defense is older.
Yeah.
So they could be slowing down, and this is a lot of games. If it goes 6, 7 games, Vegas is a younger team.
I could see that.
They might be able to just skate past them.
Younger, but they don't have that much experience, especially
Yeah,
with
but
each
playoff
other.
experience doesn't. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just something.
It's just the whole team is just
the whole team is just
together.
thrown together.
Just
But
jumbled up this
the whole
year.
experience thing and saying like, oh, you need playoff experience, you need this experience. How many first-time champions happen in sports other than basketball? In basketball, it's always the same teams.
You got Tom Brady and the Patriots every freaking year in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but they weren't able to do it. They lost to Nick Foles.
They lost to Nick Foles,
And
exactly.
they lost to Eli twice.
And they lost to Eli twice.
I don't think playoff experience, especially in hockey, really matters that much. It's if you have a fast enough team, if you have a disciplined enough team, you find ways to win, and I think that the Knights are going to find a way to beat the Kings.
Okay, you got Vegas, I got LA. This is going to be a dogfight right here. The Ducks and the Sharks. We got Anaheim and San Jose. That's going to be...
They both want to lose.
They both want to lose. I got the Sharks. You know what? It always seems like when these guys duke it out in the playoffs, the underdog usually wins, and I think San Jose is probably going to win this series.
I could see the Sharks winning. I mean, both, like, there's 3 teams where if they get in the playoffs, or 4 teams, but 3 in this conference, that if they get in the playoffs, you always think, okay, how are they going to find a way to lose?
True.
Which is
the
Blues, the Ducks, and the Sharks.
Yep.
Sharks, the year the Hawks won their second cup, the Sharks should have won that series. The Sharks were playing more physical. They were playing faster. But Blackhawks just eventually overcame them.
Yeah.
But the Sharks, while I think they could win this series just because Minnesota, they're a good team, they just kind of never seem to put it together. The Sharks might be able to get this series, but I don't think they'll go farther than winning 1 round.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So who comes out of the West? What do you got?
Nashville.
You got Nashville? I'm going with the Kings story. I got the LA Kings. It just seems like it's going to be one of those years that all of a sudden the Kings just flop into the Stanley Cup Finals.
I just think Nashville, they've slowly been building up to being one of these really dangerous teams.
Agreed.
They have an amazing goalie, good defense. They swapped out Sudan for Weber with Sudan, and Sudan's been amazing for them. Their offense is all 4 lines can score. I just think it's going to be they remind me of the Blackhawks from 13, where it just seems like it was too much to stop. I think Nashville will get into the finals.
All right. Well, let's go to the East side. Start off with, I think this is going to be an easy one. Tampa Bay, New Jersey.
Tampa.
Stamkos,
when he's on, is too quick. They got good goaltending. They got all 4 lines are good. Tampa might be too much for them to stop because Devils are a good young team, but they are incredibly young. They don't.
Way too much.
Tampa might be too much for them.
God, yes. Boston, Toronto. That's gonna be an interesting one, I'd say. You know, I'm going with Boston. I say Boston in 6 in that one. I know Toronto has been hot late in the year, but I just feel like Boston's gonna have their number.
I think Toronto. Just usually in certain sports, like hockey and baseball, most notably, when you come in hot, sometimes it doesn't matter if the other team's more skilled than you. If you have that momentum going, you're hard to stop. Toronto's been on fire lately. Got a great young center in Matthews. I think they'd at least be able to win this round and get by Boston.
I got you. Next one, Washington and Columbus. I know you're laughing. I know you're laughing because Washington always just somehow shits the bed.
Columbus.
You know what? I'm going with Columbus too. I'm sorry, but Washington, they always just shit it.
I mean, Washington.
I'll say 6. I'll say 6 for Columbus. You know,
5. The Capitals are always that team that's always supposed to be so good. They're always supposed to win the cup. They have Ovechkin. Everyone says, "Oh, Ovechkin's the best player ever," but honestly, he is a damn good player. But he's also one of the dirtiest players ever. And every time he gets knocked out of the playoffs, I'm always a little happy. But they can't get out of their own way. They always seem to find a way to lose when it matters. I'd find it hard to believe that Washington would be able to even win a round in any playoffs either. This year, next 2 years.
Damn.
I mean, this is the team that has a banner for winning a Winter Classic game. That's the only banner the Washington Capitals have.
This is true.
And they thought it was a great idea to do it, but then they got blasted so hard by even their own media saying, how can you hang up a banner for winning one game?
Exactly.
But they did it because that's all they really have.
Yeah. Last is Pittsburgh and Philly. The Flyers fly high, or the Penguins gonna?
Penguins.
Yeah, I say the Penguins.
Penguins have too much.
Penguins
power.
in 5.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Tampa Bay, New Jersey, and Nashville and Colorado. You know.
Well, not just that. Pittsburgh is that team that you think LA can be where, once they get in, they'll just turn on. But Pittsburgh, for the past 2-3 years, they've been in and they just keep winning. I think they'll win this round, and I think they're going to go to the Stanley Cup Finals again from that debate.
So there you go. You got Nashville and Pittsburgh.
But I do think Nashville will beat them.
So you got Nashville over Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Like I said, I got LA in the West. I'm going with the Juggernauts in the East. I'm going with Tampa Bay, and I'm going with the Lightning winning it all. I got Tampa Bay over LA, and you got Nashville over Pittsburgh. We got 4 different teams. That's what I like. I like it. You don't see the same shit here.
I do like Tampa.
Sort of,
I could see them, Tampa, putting up a hard series against Pittsburgh, especially Stamkos and Johnson.
Finals
are hard to stop, but the Penguins can just get at you too many ways. I think if they get in the conference finals, they beat whoever's there.
Damn. Well, I like it. I like it a lot. You got Nashville. I got Tampa Bay. So, I know you said that you wanted to talk a little bit about, I know we're going to go a little Chicago right now, but you want to talk about our Chicago Blackhawks.
Yeah.
This year has been
it's been
an abysmal.
Yeah, it's been bad
abysmal for sure.
But there's a few things that, even though it's been an awful year, that are still slightly positive. Number one, Patrick Kane still plays amazing. He's still one of the best players, if not the best player in hockey.
Right.
When you get the puck on his stick, it's hard to stop him. He's might be one of the smallest players, but it's hard to catch him. He's supposedly getting older, but he still plays exactly the
everybody
same.
Gets older.
Well, everybody
supposedly
gets
getting older.
No,
everybody
but
gets older.
He doesn't. Unlike the other players on that team, he doesn't play like that, and that could be because he hasn't taken the hits that the other players have. Because when someone tries to line him up, he always finds a way out of it. But he's so good. Schmaltz and DeBrincat both look really good this year. They have another good young forward in Sakara, who next year will probably help them out. The big problems with them are with number one, Seabrook's contract. I don't know what Bowman was thinking that giving him an 8-year contract with a full no trade clause in it, where each year you can't trade him unless he approves wherever he's going. He's not going to approve where he goes unless they offer to find a way to trade him to Pittsburgh or to a team that's in the Cup every year. Mm-hmm. He's not going to accept it. The only way out of it would be to either buy him out, which you can't this young into the contract because it's just way too much money to eat up, or to kind of do a Hossa situation where, I mean, I know Hossa legitimately is sick, can't play, can't do anything, but that might be the only way you could get out of Seabrook's money is if just tell Seabrook, look, I mean, we'll still give you your money, but you're hurting our team more than you're helping us now. Like, we can't have you out there for this money. We have young defensemen. We need to see if they can play. And we can't justify paying you as much as we do and putting you on the third defensive pairing, which is what your skill level is at right now.
Yeah.
So we might have to think of a way to either move on from you or just to get you off the ice for a little bit of time. And people were saying during the year when the Blackhawks were doing better, oh, it's time to move on from Joel Quenneville. That is the most idiotic statement anyone can make. Because, okay, I fully agree it's time to move on from Stan Bowman because he's made a bunch. I mean, it wasn't all on him because Dale Talon has made some terrible contracts, but Bowman has just, I mean, the Saad trade at the time looked like a great idea because Brendan Saad's a good two-way player.
Yeah.
But then Panarin's still playing amazing in Columbus. It was going to be hard to re-sign Panarin, so I understood why he did it. But the trade just didn't seem to make much sense because Bowman will make these trades where he'll trade a player, get a young prospect in return, like he got Mott 1 year, but then he'll just turn around and flip that prospect again for just some aging player that's really not going to help them out anymore.
Yeah.
And people say like, oh, well, maybe they stopped listening to Quenneville. You're not going to find a better coach than Quenneville. If they're not listening to him, they won't listen to anybody. And then that's a whole different problem. But you can find a better general manager than Stan Bowman. Bowman, I mean, you could say the same thing with Quenneville. They've benefited from having amazing talent on their team already that they could just put players around them and, okay, now it's going to happen. But Quenneville, I think, can still coach good enough to where he can help fix the team. I don't know if Stan Bowman can make good enough decisions to help them. They're going to have a good draft selection this year with how bad they did. So I think they're going to have a top 10 pick. So they can either draft another defense or another defenseman or another young forward, help them out. I do think Jonathan Toews, while he's slowing up a lot, I do think next year he'll do better. He's going to be...
I think it was just a fluke season with Jonathan Toews.
Well, it's been 2 seasons where he's kind of been a little... He's been going down. But
I think he's
last
pick it
year,
up next year,
he did have the concussion issues.
He did.
He was a little injured. This year, he just never seemed to get in sync with Saad. They always like that's the one thing I'll say I don't like about Quinville. He juggles those lines way too much. You need to, especially if a player like Tay is getting older, you need to give him some consistency. If you have to put him with Patrick Kane to where Tays can just be like, Tays is a great passer, he's a great two-way forward, he's a great defensive player. Put him with someone like Kane or DeBricant who can just fly, and Tays will see the window, he'll hit them, and they'll go. If you need to do that, people have always said whenever they put those lines, it was the nuclear line where when nothing was working, they put Tays with Kane. Well, at this point, not much has been working for Tays. So if you have to do a line for a little while with Saad, Kane, and Tays, even if it's like, oh, you're weakening every other line, yeah, but who's gonna really be able to stop that line if Kane still does? He still had 25 goals in a year where people said he didn't play as good as he did the year before.
True.
And he was also helping young players develop in Schmaltz and Burkhand and Sakara, and he was basically going triple shifting some games and just helping out wherever he could. So they're not, while they might not be a top team next year again, they're going to be a lot better than they were this year.
Will they be a playoff team?
Yeah, I think they'll be a playoff team again next year because while the division is good with the Wild and Predators in it, the Blackhawks, even when they're bad, they still always find a way to beat the Blues.
Okay,
And that's, if you could find a way to beat one team in your division enough times, you'll
hopefully
find
enough wins.
Plus,
points.
There's one big thing that's going to be coming back next year that'll help them a lot, and that's Corey Crawford. Not having a goalie that knows not to go out of the net and chase a puck when there's 3 defenders coming at you and just leave the net to try to get a puck that you aren't going to be able to get or don't have quick enough reflexes to be able to stop those sloppy shots was hurting them. Crawford, whether he was injured, whether he had concussion issues, there was one story that said he could have potentially been in a rehab situation. Whatever he was in, supposedly he's out of now, and he is better now. And if they would have been in the playoffs, he would have been able to play. But once he comes back, that's a huge void that gets fixed, and it helps improve everyone else on the team. Plus, they have a young defenseman that they could potentially call up next year in Hiroku, who they drafted last year in the first round, who's like doing really good in the minor hockey leagues, that he might be able to come up and help them out. Got young forwards. He's still got Kane, still got Saad, still got Tays potentially getting better next year. You just need to find a way to fix the problem with Seabrook. Because while Keith is older too and has slowed down, Keith, while he can't produce on offense anymore, he doesn't hurt you defensively like Seabrook does.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. So, that was a lot about the Blackhawks. Yeah. But very elaborate, and we got our point across. Short end of the stick, Blackhawks hopefully will be better to make the playoffs next year and probably get a lot on the first round. So, back to previews. We got another playoff starting up. Tonight is the last night of the NBA regular season, where there's a whole bunch of crap going on. We only know the first seed is solidified, second seed, and the fifth seed in the East. So 3 and 4 is still up for grabs with Philadelphia and Cleveland, and 6, 7, 8 I believe, is Milwaukee, Washington, and Miami. I think Milwaukee already solidified 6. I don't know if they have the tiebreakers over. I don't know if they have the tiebreakers over Miami and Washington, but yeah, 3, 4, 6, possibly 6, 7, and 8 are still up for grabs. So we're not going to have the playoff tree by the time we're done with this. And the next time we come on, it'll already be 2 games into the NBA playoffs. But with the East as is, can somebody beat LeBron? Is this finally going to be the ending of LeBron teams going to the Eastern Conference Finals? Boston is hurt. I don't believe in Boston. Is Toronto good enough? Is Toronto not going to be soft in the playoffs? Or is there somebody else in the East that can take out Cleveland and make the East into a whole just wide open? What's going to happen? I mean, tell me. Please, tell me. I don't get it. I don't know. Because everybody says, oh, LeBron, don't worry about it. LeBron. But can you see LeBron in Cleveland as a 4 seed going? All right, fine. Will beat Indiana in 5 or 6. And then you would have to go through Toronto. And then maybe a Philly? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I mean, it's hard to imagine a LeBron team not being able to just flip a switch. He goes off like he always does. They find a way into the finals. Just because, while the East does have up and coming teams, some powerful teams, the East is also awful.
Pretty weak. Yeah.
And it's been awful for
Milwaukee
a while.
should be better. Miami, I guess, was a little bit of a surprise. Washington's been terrible, and they're going to be possibly an 8 seed.
Yeah.
Washington was my pick to be a 2 or 3 and get to
the sad thing is
finals.
With how awful
seed.
The East is.
Well, John Wall's also been awful.
Yeah, he has been, and that's why there was a rumor that they were interested in getting Rose.
Right.
But
I hate Rose.
But
Not
I mean, for as much as in the past, as I've said, like, I dislike LeBron because of the flopping, because of the yelling at refs. Besides Michael Jordan, LeBron is the most dominant basketball player to ever play. He's one of the best
You're
players
right. He is.
to ever play. While that team doesn't have too much around
and they
him.
changed the whole team
in
the middle of the year. I understand they need to.
I don't know if they really needed to
mesh.
because Isaiah Thomas was a problem, but
yeah. But I mean,
but they didn't. The thing is, they didn't need to get rid of Kyrie. Kyrie might have wanted to go, but you didn't have to let him.
Well, he was going to walk. He was going to walk anyway.
Yeah, he was going to walk. But what you traded and got for him
didn't
help you at all.
No, and you had to trade him.
You had to trade him to get more players. So why don't you just trade Kyrie to the Lakers and get that package? Yeah, you got a top draft pick from the Nets, which I don't know why the Nets are still trying to tank when they don't own their own pick. They're trying to help another team in the league.
They're just trying to help everybody. The Nets are like, oh, we're tanking.
You don't own a pick for the next
4 years.
We're
tanking for the. Well, we're gonna just keep on taking. We're gonna tank for the next 5 years.
But I just
go ahead.
LeBron will always, until he can't fight on his own anymore, he'll at least win one series, get by whoever they're playing first, and if they have a favorable matchup, I could see him getting them into the Eastern Conference Finals again.
And then face either Boston, Philly. I mean, unless they become the 3 seed, then they have to go through a depleted Boston team, then they're fine.
With Boston, I mean, I don't even know if Boston will be able to win a round without Kyrie.
I agreed. I mean, if they get Washington, if Boston gets Washington, they got John Wall back, right?
They will by the time the playoffs start.
All right.
They will win the playoffs start. Wall might not be able to start right away, but
or Milwaukee or I don't know. Boston, they're
If-
done.
if
They're
Bos-
done.
If Boston,
Boston is done.
if Boston faces
Done.
Milwaukee, Giannis will run over that entire team.
Agreed.
They can
And
try
they'll
to
be
have all
7
5 guys guard him. He'll still beat them all.
I'm going to say this, and I know this is going to be all right. If Cleveland is the 4 seed, if Philadelphia wins tonight, their game, or Cleveland loses their game tonight, and if Cleveland becomes the 4 seed, Cleveland will not make the NBA Finals. I'm going to say that. But if they become the 3 seed, to me, it'll be a lot easier for them to get to the finals, and I think they will, because if they're the 4 seed, they beat Indiana, then they have to face Toronto. They always have Toronto's number. Always. I do not believe in Toronto. And then you would have to face a Philadelphia team. But, Toronto's still going to give them a tough time. And I'm saying it. If Cleveland's not making the NBA Finals, then Philadelphia is. Philadelphia is hot as shit right now. They are killing teams. They're going for a 16 straight win tonight. They got Ben Simmons. They got everybody just on all cylinders. They're killing everybody. But if Cleveland's the 4 seed, Philadelphia is going to beat them in the Eastern Conference Finals. If they're the 3 seed, they're going to have a very easy time, because I do not believe in Boston. Boston could be upset, like you said, in the first round. Or say Boston gets to the second round somehow in a 7-game series. They're going to have to face that Cleveland team, and Cleveland's just going to wipe the floor with Boston. And then they're going to have to face either Toronto or Philadelphia, which I think Toronto matches up a lot better against Philadelphia than Cleveland does. So I could see Toronto beating Philadelphia, and then that's, of course, what Cleveland would want. And then Cleveland beats Toronto in 6 games in the Eastern Conference Finals, and then goes to the NBA Finals. So it depends on what their matchup is. That's how I look at it.
It does depend on the seeding for Cleveland. Philadelphia does look pretty unstoppable at this moment.
They're young,
but
they're
Think,
inexperienced.
I think there's one,
but they match up well. They match
in the
up
playoffs
well.
right now that I think could probably beat Philadelphia in a 7-game series. And
Toronto can. I think Toronto can.
I think Milwaukee. I think if Antetokounmpo is playing like he has played, and if they're a 6 seed,
and Philly's a 3 seed,
yeah,
ooh,
I think
that's gonna be a series.
They have Jabari back now.
Yeah,
they have Antetokounmpo playing the dominant ball that he always played, because he's one of the best players.
Averaging 27 points a game, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. He's a monster.
I think size-wise, they're one of the teams that could match up with Philly. I mean, Embiid could do whatever he wants, because he's like 8 feet tall and can shoot threes.
He's what, a 15-10
but
guy?
So could Giannis.
So could Giannis. and you know what? No, I like that. Philly and Milwaukee.
And if
that's a matchup and a half.
If Milwaukee
good night.
gets in and beats them and gets to the finals, well,
Milwaukee gets to the finals?
Maybe.
Wow! Wait, NBA finals or Eastern Conference Finals?
Besides the Philadelphia,
you're gonna go to NBA Finals?
Besides Philadelphia, who in the East really?
No one.
Exactly.
No one can beat Cleveland unless it's Philadelphia. That's how I think. That's my thinking of it. I don't know. If you're going Milwaukee, then go for it. Put your money on Milwaukee to get to the NBA Finals. I bet they're 25-1, probably even 50-1. Look at it, see what you can get.
I'll say
you're going Milwaukee.
I'll go Milwaukee just because number one, if I can't pick the Bulls, I might as well pick a player from Chicago, Jabari Parker.
Oh, and God. I thought you were talking about Tony Snell playing for the Bulls. Jabari Parker's not, well, he's from Chicago, but oh man. Okay. All right.
Just the East is just such a joke.
Yes.
That a team like that could find because if they could beat Philadelphia, would it really be that shocking to see them beat a Cleveland team that while they have LeBron,
this is
what
the
else on that
weakest-
Cleveland team is really
No
scary?
one.
Because and that was
No one.
and as much as
They're not playoff caliber players. They're not.
and as much as LeBron is an amazing player, is an amazing person for all the charity work he
We've
does,
seen
is
LeBron
an
lose
amazing person
in the
player.
playoffs.
His team around him
When he
is
doesn't have
terrible,
anybody.
and that is
When
the
he doesn't have
team.
anybody.
While he's an amazing player, he is an awful general manager. Because
No,
that is
I thought that was
no, but that's the team that he wanted. He wanted Kevin Love instead of Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah, I know. And
He
if
wanted
would
to
have
trade
Andrew
those
Wiggins-
picks away because of I don't know what happened between Kyrie and LeBron that Kyrie had to go away, but for as great as LeBron is, Kyrie won them a lot of games against the Warriors. Won them a lot of games in that year they won the title.
Yeah.
Kyrie was one of the most important players on that team, and he was there before LeBron got there.
Yeah.
So even when LeBron came, LeBron's the greatest player, so it becomes his team. But Kyrie was also a leader on that team too, and losing him, I think, did more damage than it helped them. I mean, I know he's hurt, and that's a big problem for the Celtics, but the Celtics have more problems than that.
Celtics are screwed. All right, so when it comes down to it, if you had to put your life savings on it, are you taking the Cavaliers or the field for the NBA Finals?
The field.
To get there. To get to in the East. The Eastern field or the Cleveland Cavaliers. You're taking the field?
I take the field.
All
just
right.
because,
So you take the field. So you say yes.
If it was,
Cleveland will not make.
The only way I could see Cleveland being able to win is, number one, if they would have never traded Kyrie and he wouldn't have gotten hurt.
Agreed.
If they wouldn't have traded Kevin Love for Andrew Wiggins for Kevin Love, and it would have been Kyrie, LeBron.
Kevin Love now has a ring because of it. So.
Yes, but Kevin Love is not a good basketball player.
He used to be. He was
not
a
really. He was
guy.
He was a stat stuffer on a bad team.
Oh, that's true. You know what? That's a great transition. Speaking of stat stuffers, will Russell Westbrook hit 10 rebounds per game tonight? He's at 9.9, and I don't know how many rebounds he needs tonight. Fuck, I should have looked that up.
If he's at 9.9,
if he's
statistically,
9.9,
he probably need about 5
no,
or 6 to get to go up a percentage point.
No, well, he needs to get 10 at least.
Well,
So
yeah,
he probably needs.
He
probably
to
needs
get
about
9.
14.
He'd probably need to get 9. Because
Well,
if it's
he's
at
at
9.9,
he needs to be higher than 10. So I'm going to say 14. If he needs 14 tonight, is he getting 14 because he just steals rebounds? I don't even know who they're playing. Hold on. Let's see who Oklahoma City is playing tonight. Because you know he's going to try. You know, he's got the assist sound pat. Oklahoma City is facing home against Memphis.
Yeah.
yeah. Let's just go with that. Wait. Oh, there we go. It says right here, Russell Westbrook needs 16 rebounds. Will Russell Westbrook get 16 rebounds tonight? I'm going to say yes.
I guess Memphis.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know why?
What does Memphis have?
Well, Russell Westbrook pushes his own players away to get the rebound. So I guarantee he's going to be like, yo.
However you
coach,
need to win. If you need to cheat to win, if you need to beat up your own teammates to win. Look at what Kobe used to do to his teammates.
That's true.
Or Jordan would punch his teammates out in practice. Whatever you need to do to get your team to win, you do it.
I want to play all 48 minutes and everybody get away when there's a ball going up. I'm getting the ball. And he doesn't. He probably won't care
I'll
if he gets
laugh.
0 points
I'll
and 0
laugh
assists.
if he gets 15 and Steven Adams grabs the last rebound in the last second. And Russell's just standing there like
you
this.
motherfucker! Come on, look. Last 10 seconds left. Memphis just jacks up
jacks
a three
up a
that they're
shot,
already
and
like
Steven
down by
Adams
10.
is just jumping,
He's
standing
like,
there
no,
like
my ball, bitch!
Russell tries to dive for it, and he just misses, and it just bounces right to Steven Adams.
Oh my god! All right, so the whole Western Conference is even more chaotic than the Eastern Conference. We know who the first seed is, Houston. And we know who the second seed is, Golden State. 3 through 9 is within. I know that's within 2 games, but I think 3 through 7 is within 1 game of each other. And then Denver and Minnesota are, you know what, the basketball gods have given us something amazing tonight. Because Denver and who did I just fucking say? Denver and Minnesota are playing tonight, and they have the same record, and the winner gets to face Houston in the first round. What a consolation prize, right? But it's a play-in game, and this is cool. We never get a play-in game in basketball. I think it's probably been 20, 25 years since something crazy like this has happened. So we're going to get Minnesota and Denver. Winner goes to the playoffs. Loser goes home. It's a do or die. It's awesome. I love it. First off, who wins? Minnesota or Denver? Denver's been hot, but Jimmy Butler's coming back. Who's going to get Houston on Friday or Saturday? Who's getting Houston?
I'll say Denver only because while Jimmy is coming back, he's coming back extremely fast from an extremely traumatic injury. I mean, I know people say, "Oh, you could come back better than ever from a torn ACL unless you're Derrick Rose." But it's for the game that Jimmy plays defensively and offensively. He plays an extremely aggressive, extremely fast game.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take him some time to get back to full speed. And while that team has Karl Anthony Towns, who's a beast of a player, same with Wiggins, I just don't. Number one, I don't know if they'd be able to win that game against Denver, because the horrible thing about the playing game is, once again, you can be an amazing team. You could be like the 95, 96 Bulls. You could be the Heat. You could be the Wade. You could be the Wade Bosch LeBron Heat. You know what happened to the Wade Bosch LeBron Heat? The first series,
Dallas, baby.
Lost to Dirk Nowitzki and Dallas, who that's the only good thing Dallas has done in
ever.
Well, not ever, because the Cowboys used to be good.
Yeah.
but it's the only time the Mavericks have actually not been awful. And somehow they were able to beat the Heat. And so all it takes is one great player having an off night, is just one thing to not go your way, and you could lose that game. And I think Denver will just find a way to win.
Exactly. I'm laughing right now because we have a mascot here. Come on, kitty. This is our mascot. This is Winifred. She's a good cat.
But yeah, because all it takes is just one thing to go wrong, and you could lose that game. And
so you got Denver. You know what? I'm gonna say Denver too. Anything happens, Denver's just hot, and it's just gonna be a weird game, and Denver's gonna win.
Will Thibodeau play Jimmy Butler 40 minutes
yes,
off his injury?
Yes, he will. Yes, he will. But with that said, all right, I'm going to give the same question as I did in the East, because we don't know what the matchups are going to be, because it's still going to be completely chaotic. Is Golden State beatable?
Is Steph healthy?
He will be healthy, I think, by Game 3 or Game 4 of the first round.
Who could they potentially face?
half of the West. All right, no, honestly, they could get. I think they could get Portland. They could get San Antonio. They could get Oklahoma City. They could get Utah.
I could see Portland, the Spurs, or the Thunder beating them if Steph's not helped. Because if Steph can't come in until Game 3 or Game 4,
yeah.
What if they don't win those 3 games?
Well, then they're down 3-0.
Then Steph's back and has to do everything.
You do forget they have Kevin Durant on the team, right?
The Thunder had Kevin Durant with Russell Westbrook. Did they win anything?
Touche, but
Kevin Durant is an amazing
He's
player.
a beast. He's a monster. But I know what you're trying to say. He can't win on his own, and that's why he went to Golden State.
Yeah.
I get it.
Clay is an amazing player, too. So is Green.
You know Golden State lost by 40 last night?
Yes, I do. But honestly, the Spurs...
They're not going to have Kawhi. Kawhi's pulling a Derrick Rose.
He is.
He's pulling a Derrick Rose.
He is, but Popovich might just be able to Jedi mind trick his way into winning a series.
Well, it's a possibility, yes.
And, Portland against them, they could probably beat Portland, but
Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum's going to give them some
trouble.
Especially if Seth Rollins not going to be playing.
Yeah.
Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum's going to give them problems.
Yeah.
All right, so you say yes. I'm just going to go with a flat no. Golden State's winning it all this year. That's how it's going to be. I got Golden State and Philadelphia in the NBA Finals, and I got Golden State in 5. How about that? What do you got? What do you got in the finals? Who you got?
Well, considering
you got Milwaukee, that's who you got.
Considering there's no solid team locked into a position in one conference, it's kind of hard.
Everybody's injured.
Predict things.
It's just LeBron and a bunch of has-beens and nobodies. What about Houston? Houston's healthy. Houston's the number 1 seed. They got 66 wins?
Screw it. I'll say Milwaukee, Oklahoma City. Let's have 2 small market teams in the final.
Who wins it all?
Oklahoma.
Well, there you go. Russell Westbrook does his revenge of the Westbrook and somehow wins the NBA Finals. You know what? If you want to put money on these teams, go right ahead. I guarantee you.
At least I pick teams that you'll win money on. You're not going to win money on betting on Golden State.
Philadelphia gets to the finals.
Not as much as Milwaukee.
That's for damn sure. You're probably right about that.
If you have to place a $100 bet, at least place it when your odds are like 50 or 60 to 1. You're going to come out
on top.
If you don't, you only lost $100.
So there you go. So that's kind of funny. We have completely different teams in the NHL playoff, Stanley Cup Finals, and the NBA Finals. NBA Finals. All right. So what's next? You want to go to football? What are we talking about? Football.
Nick Foles winning a Super Bowl.
Oh dear God. I don't even want to do football, man. If anybody out there has any football questions for us, we'll answer them on the next one. I got nothing.
Nick Foles won the Super Bowl.
All right. I guess we'll just transition straight to
I could actually talk a little football.
All right.
Do you think? Okay.
Ask
the Bears placed. Number 1, they did 2 extremely risky things in 3 if you count signing Robinson coming out for an ACL injury. But 2 other...
I like it.
I do. Robinson's a great player.
He is.
But they let Fuller be transition tagged, and they let Cam Meredith... They give him an original round tender. Cameron Meredith was an undrafted free agent. So what do you get back from an undrafted free agent as an original round tender?
I don't know.
A 5th round pick.
5th round pick?
Yeah.
That's what they got?
Yep.
They got a 5th-round pick.
And you know what his contract was?
What?
2 years, $10 million.
That's
The Bears have $25 million in cap space.
So what the hell are the Bears trying to do right now?
I don't know, but if you would have had Allen Robinson, Cam Meredith, and Gabriel as your 3 receivers, that would have been...
I don't think that's good, though.
Cam Meredith is a good receiver, though. And he's got enough size where if he's lined up on the opposite side of Robinson, Robinson's going to get double-teamed.
I think they're trying to go after Allen Hurns.
Hey, oh, yeah, he's a free agent.
Yeah, Allen Robinson has been trying to tweet him and shit. And like, oh, former Jacksonville Jaguar buddy Allen Hurns come out over the Chicago Bears. I think that, you know what? I still think the Bears have a few tricks up their sleeves for wide receivers. And they'll, as us Packer fans, I think the Bears are going to be fine. I think they're going to be okay. They're not going to, you know.
But there was also
this year,
that rumor of a potential trade for the Bears where they're trading Jordan Howard and their 8th pick to the Colts for the 6th pick.
I did hear about something about trading Jordan Howard, but wait, so they would
swap picks, and Jordan Howard goes to the Colts. Then they get a 3rd-round pick as well. The Bears get a 3rd-round pick as well.
So
the Bears give up Howard and 8
and the
for 6 and a 3rd.
For 6 and the 3rd. I sure go.
Unless but okay, I guess, but unless you could get with that pick, unless you're getting Saquon Barkley, that means Tariq Cohen is your number 1 running back.
He's not bad.
Is he a number 1 running back?
In this offense, yes. Because what? Matt Nagy, he's not about the power backs. He wants backs to catch. And Jordan Howard cannot catch the ball. He only knows how to pound and ground. Ground and pound. That's all he needs. That's all. And if you could get somebody, Saquon Barkley is going to be gone by the 6th pick. Unless
the Browns are stupid.
Unless they go quarterback crazy in the first 5 rounds. First 5 picks.
If the Browns don't take Barkley 1 or 4,
then
they should be disbanded as a franchise.
They should leave.
They should lose
again.
They should lose.
Just like they did in the 90s.
No, but they don't deserve to make another team. They just get taken out of the league, and the players all become free agents.
There you go.
Why does Ohio deserve 2 teams anyways?
Well,
the Bengals haven't done anything in like forever.
They
Marvin Lewis
the playoffs. That's more than a lot of teams can say.
Marvin Lewis got an extension when they don't win anything.
They won like 10 games.
And they have Andy Dalton as a quarterback.
I like Andy Dalton.
Would you want him as your quarterback?
He's better than Nick Foles.
Not by much.
He's better than Nick Foles.
Not by much.
First. Andy Dalton's better than Nick Foles. You gotta love
Yeah, but
Red
that's
Rocket.
the thing.
You
Nick
gotta
Foles.
love Red Rocket, baby.
Wait, hold on. You said he's better than Nick Foles. Nick Foles was a backup quarterback. He was not a starter. He was not a first-round draft pick. He did not ever get an extension. I mean, he did once.
Yeah,
but
Philadelphia.
But he also came in as a backup and won the Super Bowl with an extremely quarterback-friendly offensive game plan that Peterson put together. Dalton is not that good. Dalton has A.J. Green, and he can't seem to find a way to win games. If Aaron Rodgers had A.J. Green would have 3,000 yards receiving. If Tom Brady had A.J. Green, they probably wouldn't lose a game.
You're probably right. But you know,
even if Stafford had A.J. Green, they'd probably have 2,000 yards.
He'd probably be in the fucking Super Bowl. I get it.
I'd rather have A.J. McCarron be my quarterback than Andy Dalton.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'll take Colt McCoy or Johnny Manziel.
Johnny Manziel, he got on the pup list.
I'll take Vic. Screw it.
Oh, God. Oh, dear God. All right. So, Yeah, the Bears. There you go. There we go.
Like
I don't
the
fucking
one
know,
thing I
man.
don't understand about the Bears moves from the past few years is they went out and spent all this money in free agency, signed McPhee, signed Trevathan, signed Hicks. Hicks is still an amazing player.
It's a
But
rebuild.
if you're rebuilding, why are you spending 40
Well, no,
million
I mean
just to
they're
sign
but
linebackers?
they're building up. They're
They cut
going on the
McPhee.
up. I don't know.
They signed an injured linebacker to a $40 million contract and then cut him.
I'm trying to defend the Bears here, and they're just
And then,
digging their own.
I mean,
no, they're
there's
not digging their own.
they're not. I mean, Pace is a good GM. He's good at drafting.
Yeah.
I just don't think his free agency moves, except for I'll wait and see on Robinson. He's a great receiver, but you don't know how he's going to come back.
Yes, but it's only.
And that might
one
have been
injury.
why they didn't re-sign Cameron Meredith too, because then you'd have two receivers coming off ACL tears.
Exactly, and if you have both of them gone again, who the hell is
Josh Bellamy?
Oh God,
He thinks he's a number one receiver.
Well, he thinks he's I think he's insane. So you need healthy wide receivers that don't have torn ACL pasts for Trubisky to actually grow as a quarterback. So I can totally understand why they got rid of Cam Meredith. But yeah, the draft is coming up. It's exciting. That's in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good. I got nothing else on football. You got anything else on football?
How do you feel about the Packers letting Jordy walk? Changing defensive coordinators.
Well, I think getting rid of Dom Capers, it's I think both is bittersweet. Because yes, Dom Capers has been there for 10 years? 11 years. He did do very, very well for us, for our Packers, or team that we root for. I just feel like it was time for Dom Capers to go. Yeah, it was getting old. It was getting old. We needed some sort of change, we need to be woken. Woken. And same with Jordy Nelson. You know what? He's on the other side of 30.
But so is the person they signed.
Yeah, but I like Jimmy.
I mean, I like.
It's just that Jordy Nelson has been injured in the last few years, and you know what? Business is business. I love Jordy Nelson. He's always going to be one of my favorite wide receivers in Green Bay Packers history, but you got to do what you got to do. Patriots don't give shits.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, he was great last year. You know what? Cut him and let's get 2 new people. Okay, and guess what? They go back to the fucking Super Bowl. So you know what? You got to do what you got to do. It's a business.
I didn't mind.
You got to get rid of him.
Getting rid of Jordy for Jimmy Graham, just because the way the offseason was lining up, it was either you were going to lose Randall Cobb or Jordy Nelson. It was going to be one of the two. Yeah. Randall is still young. Yes. He's still only 27 years old. Yeah. If you put Jimmy on one side and Devontae Adams on the other, you just line them both out wide, Cobb will be open a lot more, and when Cobb's open, he can fly. Yeah, he can fly. Like, Rodgers is a little upset that the Packers didn't consult with him about releasing the quarterback coach or releasing Jordy. And as much as I love Rodgers, he's probably, if Brady's the best, he's the second best quarterback to ever play. I think he's the best in terms of athletic ability and quarterback play. Brady's the best winner. But you don't need to ask a player's permission to do things, even if it's Aaron Rodgers. No. You don't have to ask his permission to release a quarterback coach or to release an aging receiver. But maybe at least let them know first, like, hey, this is what we're probably going to do, and we're just going to let you know first. Yeah, but what if you tell him that and he says, no, I don't want you to do that? Well,
Well, that's probably why the Packers didn't do it.
Then if you do it anyways, then he's like, "Oh, I told you I didn't want that to happen." Why
Well,
did you
you're
do it?
damned if you do and damned if you don't.
Like, I think number one, the Capers change had to happen. The offensive changes had to happen because the offense has gotten incredibly stale. Philbin running it will be better because the last time he was running it, they won the Super Bowl. Then he got hired by the Dolphins and kind of disappeared. But
yeah, he went away for a while.
But I think they'll do better with a different defensive coordinator. I wish they could have either cut or traded Clay Matthews, but that can't happen. Yeah.
We're stuck with Clay.
Yeah.
And that's okay. He's a body out there. He still has glimpses of good, and who knows? Maybe he could have a comeback season.
Here, do you think the Giants will take a quarterback number 2?
No, I think they're going Saquon.
I think they're going Chubb.
Really?
They traded JPP. They don't have Tuck anymore. When the Giants were good, there was always a pass rush.
Line, yeah.
I think if the Browns don't take Chubb, I think the Giants
are going to take him.
Then the Jets will take Saquon.
Yeah. And then
who's for?
Cleveland again.
Then Cleveland. I think Cleveland won. I think they'll either go Mayfield or Allen 1, and then Minkah Fitzpatrick 4.
Okay.
I think the Bears are probably going to end up with that Edmonds, the inside linebacker from Virginia Tech. I think the Packers might try to trade up and get either Ward, Harold Landry, or Davenport so they could improve their defense. But the Browns, if with one of those, number one, if I was the Browns, I wouldn't even take a quarterback 1 because you just traded for Tyrod Taylor, so see what he could do. I'd take Saquon Barkley 1, and then 4, if the next 3 teams take quarterbacks, I take Chubb 4. Then you have the 2 best players in the draft.
Then that's insane.
Or I'd even take Minkah Fitzpatrick if he's not there.
And the Browns might actually win a lot of games. Or
I mean, a lot for them.
I'm going to guarantee you that the Browns will win more games this year than they have in the last 2 years.
That's more than 1 game.
Exactly. They've only won 1 game in 2 years. They went 0-16.
And they extended their coach.
And there we go. That's wonderful. All right. Transition time to our last segment of this no commercial show of ours. Yeah. We're saving wrestling for last. I want to talk about the main event of what happened of Lesnar and Reigns. My cousin, who's not here, he was dead on Sunday night with Lesnar winning and shocking the world.
I don't think that's how it was supposed to happen.
I actually read up that the decision was made a couple days beforehand. Vince McMahon was not liking the reactions of the fans leading up to WrestleMania because they were trying to get Roman Reigns over with the fans.
They've been trying that for 3 years.
well, Vince McMahon finally pulled the plug on, at least for this past Sunday. And he was like, no, I'm not going to have Reigns win because I don't want a shitty crowd reaction for the main event.
Then he shouldn't have had that be the main event. It should have been Shinsuke versus AJ.
Agreed. But we'll get to that soon enough. But I just want to say, I think the booking of the Lesnar Reigns match was phenomenal. No pun intended. It was AJ Styles. I think it was phenomenal. I love the swerve of Brock Lesnar winning. I understand why Vince did it because I just said, reactions were
The
shitty.
booking might have been phenomenal,
But
the in-ring work was awful.
the match itself, it should have been on the pre-game show, whatever the shit they call it, the pre-show. The pre-show. It should have been a house show match. And even that is giving it enough credit. When you have wrestlers are getting into or superstars are getting into this bad routine of just doing their signatures.
Well, that's mainly at this point.
Well, that's Brock. That's Reigns.
Brock can't really do much else anymore because
it was
he just suplexes and F5s people
belly to belly, German
that's
suplex,
why
belly to belly, German suplex, belly to belly, F5, and
that's why when I heard his contract was up, I was actually happy. I was like, I don't care if they strip him with the title. I know, but it was only a one match.
Actually, I've now heard it's a multi-year deal.
They're saying the multi-year one's wrong. It's like 2 more pay-per-views.
I hope. So, okay. I understand if all he wants to do is German suplexes, belly to bellies, and F5s. Fine and great. We already saw that last year with Goldberg and every single match of Lesnar's in the last year, 2 years, whatever, how long. But you're literally trolling the fans when you're having to do 6 F5s to one person. When you're pretty much saying only one F5 could put away Samoa Joe and one F5 could put away Strowman, which Strowman took everybody's finisher in the Elimination Chamber and still kicked out.
And got powerbombed by 6 people.
Got powerbombed by 6 people. That's cool, but it takes one F5 to beat Strowman.
And he tips over trucks and stages.
Yes, but here's the thing. If you want Reigns to kick out of one, go. Do it. Please do it. It needed to happen at WrestleMania. It needed to happen. If you want him to kick out of 2, okay. That's fine, but you ended at 2. 5 F5s he kicked out of. That is called trolling the fans. That is called you're fucking this all up. You're making it worse. The crowd was chanting boring bullshit, this is awful, and we want Nicholas.
Yeah.
They were so bored after the 3rd or 4th F5. Like they all knew, like, what is this? This isn't a storyline. This is not a story during a match. This is just you guys giving us a bunch of shit. It's like a bad horror movie. When you have a bad horror movie and all you're doing is you're doing the gore factor. You're just killing people off and splicing people's arms and Achilles and whatever the shit, and you're just putting gore. And it's like, well, this is not needed.
Hey, Hostel was okay.
Exactly. So, but no, go on.
But the problem I had with the Brock match is the same problem I had with the Orton match at Mania, and I had with the Cena match a few weeks ago on Raw. When you do
Cena match on Raw,
like 3 or 4 weeks ago, before the Taker stuff, it was right after. It was before Rumble.
Who did you face?
I think it was like a fatal 4-way against a bunch of people.
All right,
but like when you have, this is the problem I have with Ring of Honor right now, is the Young Bucks.
Yeah,
all they do for their entire match is super kick people.
Yeah.
They don't do any other move. They just super kick people. In the Cena Fatal 4-Way, he F5'd or FU'd everyone 4 times. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, did it to everyone. And just like kept doing it.
Oh, was this that Fastlane?
That was the
fatal. But I like that beginning. That beginning was cool. Because he F5'd everybody, and then he got knocked out of the ring, and everybody else got knocked out of the ring. It was like, all right, that's cool.
Yeah, but if you do a finisher, that many times, even if it's to different people, and you don't win the match, that devalues the move.
Well, yeah.
And a move,
but that's
like the F5 or like Cena's attitude adjustment, or like AJ's
Phenomenal forearm.
forearm or the
The
Styles Clash.
Kinshasa.
Yeah, like those moves. When you do a move like that, it's supposed to nobody kicks out of that. If you kick out of one or two, okay, but doing 5 or 6 in a row, and then him getting up again and spearing him,
terrible.
it was stupid. And the blood spot, while it was cool, it was a complete fuck up by Lesnar.
And was that a hard shot, or did
he
Roman Reigns slice?
No, he elbowed him right on the bridge of the head with his elbow pad off.
That was a stiff shot. That was a stiff shot.
And busted. Because if you cut yourself, number one, you'd have to cut, like when they used to cut, they do it with razor blades.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get that deep with it. I mean, you can, but you'd
the shit out of
notice the guy like wincing before he do it, and the screen was on him when he took the elbow.
That's true.
So and his hands were like down on his side.
Okay.
So that was Lesnar.
Did you hear about the Lesnar and Vince McMahon altercation backstage after WrestleMania? How Vince McMahon and Lesnar were yelling at each other. I think there's a lot of speculations, but I think it was Lesnar was pissed of the crowd reaction, and Vince McMahon was
put on better matches.
Vince McMahon was pissed exactly, and Vince McMahon was pissed for the blood spot.
Yeah,
and
for the way he threw the belly of belly and dropped him on his head.
No, I heard that because they used the German announce table. This is what I heard. They used the German announce table for the spot instead of the Spanish announce table.
Well, yeah, that's
because the Germans didn't know they were going to get the spot.
Well, yeah, and
they weren't supposed to. I think he did the wrong table, and because Vince is very anal and rightfully so, it's $1 billion.
But that's understandable because if you're in that situation, announcing at ringside, like you saw it in the Styles Shinsuke match, where they were by the table. Cole, Graves, and Coachman were all up and out of the way by the time they got over there.
Yeah.
If you know what's going to happen, you get out of the way. If you don't know what's going to happen,
you're just going to be like,
gets thrown
what
at
the hell's going on
and
here?
if one of those guys would have gotten hurt, then Vince would have been. I mean, it's his employee, so you wouldn't get him like huge trouble, but it would have been a problem. And just that whole match,
it was terrible.
I was thinking during the match, this would have been a perfect time for Baron Corbin to still have his money in the bank, and to just run out, cash in, just to end it.
Kind of like what Seth Rollins did 2 years ago,
or what Carmelo did on SmackDown.
Exactly. Other than that, I love the rest of the show except the Nicholas. Yeah. I understand that's for comedic relief, but you're literally burying Sheamus and Cesaro, which Vince doesn't like to push unless they're tag team, but then they lose to a 10-year-old kid. Fine, great. Monday Night Raw, there were a lot of returns and a lot of returns. We had Samoa Joe. We had Bobby Lashley, which I'm hearing that here's my prediction and speculations. SummerSlam of this year, Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. And by God, don't let Lesnar have the title. I hope not. Yeah. Get the title off of Lesnar.
I liked Raw. I liked Authors of Pain debuting.
The Authors of Pain. No way, Jose.
I don't like him. I mean, I was telling you this earlier. Like, I didn't mind it. I didn't like it, but I didn't mind it as much when Big Show had the knockout punches as a finisher. Because if you get hit with a hand the size of a frying pan, you're going to get knocked out.
Yes.
But No Way Jose doing a pop-up punch as his finisher is incredibly weak. And his character reminds me too much of Adam Rose's. And that didn't get over.
Oh, yeah.
Or like Bailey, where there's certain characters that, while everyone wants to make the main roster, there's certain characters that are better served if you just keep them in NXT. Mm-hmm. Like No Way Jose, like Adam Rose when he was there, like Tyler Breeze when he was, because they ruined Tyler Breeze's character, because originally he was what was it, like Vane narcissistic by himself, never did anything like model guy, and now he's like a fashion cop, which is still funny.
I love the fashion police. They're great.
But
they're
they don't win anything.
Well, no.
And he was better on his own. And he was better on his own because he was NXT champion.
Well,
and
they have nothing. They have no storyline.
Well, that's why. That's why.
They have to have them.
Well, no, but that's why.
Fashion police.
When they're doing this superstar shakeup thing, I think Breeze, Curtis Axel, Bo Dallas, and Apollo Crews should all go back to NXT and let them go back to their either a new version of the original characters or let them rebrand themselves. Because what they're doing now, like Apollo put on a good match on Raw, and he's good with Titus.
Yeah.
But he's better than that.
He's better. Yeah, he is. He's very athletic. Very, very athletic.
Same with Tyler Breeze. Tyler Breeze is hilarious, and him and Van Digger. But when Tyler, like NXT 2 years ago, Breeze faced Jushin Thunder Liger, and it was an amazing match. But he doesn't get to show that off because he's basically the new Santino and playing a comedy role. And for a comedy role, you can only do so much in the ring. They don't want you to be showing off. And like the one thing on Raw that I don't say I liked it, but because it was kind of sad, was Paige's retirement because her neck issues.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next night on SmackDown, she becomes a SmackDown General Manager,
which is awesome.
Which I loved because I loved it. But there's one thing I did not like, but this wasn't on the show. It was on the WWE fan page. It was people were commenting, "Oh, I thought we were finally getting rid of her. That she left. Her voice is so annoying. I can't stand her. She needs to go away because she makes terrible decisions because." She almost quit when she was with Del Rio, and then she had to release a sex tape, and she had to do all this just because she was trying to get out of contract. And I commented, I was like, number one, she was suspended when she was with Del Rio because she was on pain medication because her neck was so screwed up. Number two, she did not release her sex tape because no woman besides Kim Kardashian would release their own sex tape. Because it does not make them look good.
Yes.
And number three, if you don't like her, you don't like her voice or whatever, why even waste time commenting or watching? Just turn the show off and don't watch it.
Well, people don't know how to turn the show off. They just like to.
But yeah, I liked her becoming the GM. I was expecting it to be Jeff Jarrett.
I was too.
But I think.
But I like this.
I think Kurt will be gone as Raw GM soon.
And he'll be
then Jarrett will be
a contender.
Then Jarrett will be Raw GM.
Yeah.
And the match with AJ and Bryan was amazing.
That was awesome. AJ Styles and Bryan, they tore the house down. I already knew that Shinsuke was going to come out and fuck it up because you can't have a clean ending of AJ and Daniel Bryan on a SmackDown live show, right? That's like a WrestleMania show, a WrestleMania match right there. So, but no, I also really, really love Shinsuke being heel. Yeah, his promo yesterday was awesome.
Yeah, they were asking him,
"Oh my,
why he did what he did?" He's like, "No speak English.
No speak English, dude." I love it. I love the path that they're going down with Shinsuke. It's going to make his match against AJ Styles at Backlash for the title just so much better. And I think it's going to be better than the match that we got at WrestleMania. The WrestleMania match was, to me, a 7 out of 10. It was good. It was probably it was tons better than the main event. It was better than a lot of the matches. It was probably the third best match of the night at WrestleMania. But we know they could do better from Wrestle Kingdom 10. Or 12, 10, 12, 10, yeah, 10. Perfect 10. But no, I feel like the best is yet to come with this AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura feud, and it's going to come at Backlash, and I really, really hope they do a trilogy of it and have one in Money in the Bank so I can see it live.
The Shinsuke AJ match was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Fatal 4-Way for the U.S. title.
That was very well done.
I didn't like Jinder winning not just because he won, but the way he won where the match was like, oh, it's just over. Like there was like no build up to it. It was just, oh, here it
It's
is.
probably because they were probably short on time.
Yeah.
You know, for all we know, the referee's like, yo, you guys got to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Let's go. But
But-
because we need more time for fucking
Lesnar
and Reigns.
and even
shit
that,
like
the
that.
Lesnar Roman match. Okay, like this is one thing I really don't like about wrestling. Okay, Roman Reigns won the number one contendership to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
He lost to Brock Lesnar.
I know where you're going.
Shinsuke won the Royal Rumble. He lost to AJ Styles.
Okay.
Why are they getting title matches at the next pay-per-view?
Well, we don't
Why don't
well,
they
hold
let
on.
someone else?
We don't know. I'm speculating AJ Styles versus Shinsuke. I'm speculating that. We might get a number one
Well, they're saying
contendership
it's
match.
SummerSlam's going to be triple threat: Daniel, Shinsuke, and AJ.
Oh, God. Oh, man. Harpy's still on. Oh, hell yeah.
And Jeff's supposed to win Money in the Bank.
But, well, we'll see about that.
Brother
No, I don't know. I'm just speculating AJ Styles versus Shinsuke at Backlash. They might do a storyline of number one contendership match for Shinsuke versus Baron Corbin or some bullshit, and then Shinsuke wins by cheating and shit like that. Maybe even against Daniel Bryan. But as we do know, the Saudi Arabia Greatest Royal Rumble. I understand that they want to do an amazing, cool pay-per-view for Saudi Arabia, and that's fucking awesome. But this 50-man Royal Rumble, what does the winner get?
I think it should be a title shot at SummerSlam.
Is it?
I don't know, but I heard it's going to be something like that.
Because it has to be.
Yeah.
Because if you're just going to have a winner, it's just going to be like, oh, cool. I'm just the winner of a Royal Rumble for nothing.
I like the idea of that pay-per-view.
I do too.
But I don't like it because I would have liked it better if it was in, say, August or September.
Because we just had a Royal Rumble.
No, not that. You had the Royal Rumble. You had the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. You had the Women's Battle Royal. You had the Women's Royal Rumble.
Now we get another one!
That's 5 times you have the exact same match.
We got Royals everywhere!
And this one so far isn't for anything. Like, they haven't said the winner gets anything. But, I didn't like... But there was one thing I really liked at the Royal Rumble, which was one of my correct picks, was Woken Matt Hardy winning the Giant Battle Royal because of Bray Wyatt's help. And then the next night on Raw,
oh my god,
in the match against Apollo Crews and Titus O'Neil, Apollo Crews countered Bray and did a backflip, and then Bray and Matt just kept clapping like wonderful.
Matt's like, stop!
Wonderful! And then in the back, Jeff Hardy was walking by, or Brother Nero, and Jeff went up to Matt, and Matt was like, oh, sibling, it's nice to see you have healed from your broken condition. And then Jeff's like, oh yeah, I tried calling you, but you must have deleted it.
You must have deleted it.
Like, but you were busy training for the Rumble of Giants. Yes, I was. And then Bray comes up and like, Brother Nero, and hugs him because Matt says, oh, I won because of the help of a former foe.
Exactly.
And then Bray comes up and it's like, Brother Nero.
Wonderful.
And then they hug each other. And then Seth and Finn both look at Jeff like, what the hell is that? And Jeff just goes, just walks away.
I love it. I love the broken gig. I loved it for the past 3-4 years when I was in TNA. And now, yes, Woken Matt Hardy said that now they are back on an expedition of gold.
Do you think they'll beat the Revival?
Yes.
I don't. I kind of think because Revival was one of the teams that's kind of like Triple H and NXT was one of like Triple H's kind of go-to people.
Yeah.
I think if they don't win this time and they don't get the titles, because I don't think Sheamus and Cesaro are going to win again.
No, I don't think so either.
I think Revival by SummerSlam will have the tag titles, either Raw or SmackDown. If they might get drafted over to SmackDown. And I also think next week on SmackDown, Almas, McIntyre, and Sanity all go to SmackDown.
That would be awesome.
But
That would be
like
awesome.
I like the broken and woken stuff just because it's like so like out there.
It's entertaining.
And it is
funny.
But and I like that they didn't change Bray too much.
No.
Because my worry during the whole thing when they said, "Oh, we're gonna rebrand him," was they were gonna completely scrap Bray Wyatt and bring him back as something
Husky
else.
Harris
or the rumor was he was gonna be IRS Junior.
Oh God,
but
that would have been terrible.
I like that they kept him like he is. I like that now Matt and him are using his entrance to get in the ring, where it says a blackout and they're just there.
And then they delete their opponents.
And I also liked in the back, I think eventually Jeff is gonna make the transition and become Brother Nero again. I liked also in the back where Jeff asked Bray, "Oh, so how are you feeling now that you have been deleted of the Demon Abigail?" Wonderful. Just Bray needed something like this because number one, on SmackDown was where he was at his best because he won his world title, but then he stupidly had to lose it to Randy Orton.
They killed him.
And then he came to Raw.
Killed Bray Wyatt.
Then they had the rivalry with Finn, which was looking good.
And then he got
really sick.
And then they never
finished the story.
They never finished the story.
They never did anything.
We were going to get Sister Abigail versus the Demon King. You know, we would have had something cool, but no. I mean, he got sick. And that's at least go back to it.
That's one thing I was kind of disappointed at WrestleMania 2 was that Finn didn't come as the Demon.
Well, you know why? Because they were going to give it to Seth Rollins, and they want Demon King to still be undefeated.
Yeah.
Because Demon King is undefeated in WWE shows. You know.
And Finn's entrance was kind of strange.
It is what it is. You know, it was kind of
like I get the message and everything. It's just,
but
as a WrestleMania entrance.
Yeah.
There weren't Alexa's
for Bailey or something.
Yeah. And Alexa's was cool, Charlotte's was cool.
Oh God.
Triple H and Stephanie.
Oh, that was perfect.
And it was funny because there's on 670 Score, Taz does a post wrestling show.
Yeah.
And he was talking about the entrances. And he was saying how
a lot of them were really good.
Well, no, not
Seth
that.
Rollins was really good.
Not that they were good. That he thinks Triple H and Stephanie didn't need to have that entrance, and that money could have been spent on making someone else's entrance better and making someone else the star instead of focusing on Triple H and Stephanie are still.
You gotta give yourselves a pat on the back once in a good while.
Yeah,
right?
Seth's was cool with the flamethrowers and.
Well, no, Seth Rollins had the fucking
blue contacts.
Yes, from I can't think of his fucking
Sub-Zero. Oh no, that was Mustafa Ali. He had the ice coming out of his head.
No, Seth. That's I can't think of the fucking character's name. The fucking Game of Thrones. The Night King. The Night King. Yeah. The Night Walkers.
Yeah.
Yeah. White Walkers. White Walkers. Yeah. Night King. Yeah, there you go. But
I liked Mustafa Ali's entrance with the Sub-Zero where we're shooting the ice out. And I liked Miz's entrance where had the words pop up on the screen.
Yes.
Even though a lot of people hated that. I thought that would have been cool if they did that for Braun.
Yeah.
When he was walking out.
For Braun.
Or if they did it later with Alexa.
Yeah.
If they would have had Goddess above her as she was walking out. But her entrance was cool where she came down from the pedestal. Kind of sucks that she had to lose to Nia. Because I was telling my one friend this and he doesn't agree with me. I thought in that match Nia looked incredibly sloppy. Because number one.
Yeah, it was a little sloppy.
Number one was when she first tossed Alexa out of the ring, instead of throwing her over the rope, she actually threw her on the apron and bounced her off the apron. Then when she was trying to do the military press, and in a normal military press, you hold them by their throat and by their midsection so you have them balanced properly.
Mm-hmm.
But she had her by her throat and by her ankle and had her turned out.
Oh.
So she wasn't facing the right way. And then when she threw her down, she threw her right on her leg and almost snapped her knee.
Yeah, that's not good.
And my friend was like, oh no, people have done the military press like that before. I was like, no, they might have held them like that before. I was like, but you never throw someone down on their leg.
No, God, no.
Or you're going to injure someone. So, like, I thought that was bad. I liked Charlotte beating Asuka's streak because it's gone on for way too long.
Yes.
And then on SmackDown, I liked Carmella.
Cashing in.
On her.
That was great.
Because I thought it was going to happen at WrestleMania. But I like that they waited till SmackDown and had Billie Kay and Peyton Royce attack her and like lay her out, and then Carmella came on and cashed in. Like the one thing I didn't like about it is it seemed to take a really long time for the ref to actually start it off.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
He kept going,
I know.
Are you sure?
Are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure? Huh? I'm gonna just kind of walk it up, and all you hear is Carmella squealing. Yeah. It's like, Jesus, fucking H. Murphy.
But yeah, NXT was good too. The takeover was amazing.
Yes,
with the ladder match. NXT tonight, I'm gonna go watch when I get home.
There you go.
I heard War Machine is supposed to debut tonight.
Yes.
But yeah, it was a good show. Backlash should be cool. The draft next week should be fun.
That will be fun.
I still don't really like that idea of the Rumble, the greatest Rumble pay-per-view, just because the Rumble is for nothing unless they announce it.
You know what? It's going to be live here in the States at 11 in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, I have the network, though, so you can watch it whenever you want.
Exactly.
You can watch it whenever you want.
Just don't look up spoilers,
you
know.
I mean, even if you do, who cares? Because it's not like, I mean, the title matches are important, but it's not like any of those titles are really going to change hands. I mean, the Roman Universal one, unless he gets another reaction like you got at WrestleMania.
Reigns is never going to win the title because no one wants him as the champ. Unless
that's WWE's own fault.
Yeah, it is their fault. Because they're just jamming him down our throats.
Well, not just that. Like, when Seth and Dean left the Shield, they each made their own personalities. Dean became the lunatic, Seth became the Kingslayer, and the man, and the architect. Roman stayed Shield guy. Yeah. Roman still comes out to Shield music, still comes out with Shield attire. Up until like a year ago, he still came out through the crowd. Yeah. Still does the same moves he did in the Shield. Like, even Seth and Dean have changed their movesets up a little bit. Yeah. Roman is still Shield guy. So they thought, okay, we'll put the Shield back together, and now we'll get him positive reaction again. But then Dean got hurt, and Seth went back to his own stuff. Like,
Seth got gold before Roman did.
Yeah, so did Dean Ambrose.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll say this. Like, Roman is good. Is a really good superstar in the ring. Like, on the mic, he's a little... I mean, it depends on who he's with, because if he's with Brock, no one's really going to look good against Brock. No. Because you can't do anything, because he only does 2 moves. Exactly. But, I honestly think, like, there's 2 superstars that desperately need to turn heel. And it's Roman Reigns and Bayley. Agreed. Because Roman, if you watch his NXT stuff, when he was a heel down there, he was like so much more fluid. And even Jericho said before that it's easier to be a heel, because when you're a face, you're always worried about, okay, what's going to react positively with the crowd? What's going to help them? What's going to make me get over? When you're a heel, you can just say whatever you want, because you don't want people liking you. You want them to hate you, so you could just be cocky, be conceited, and just say whatever you think. Exactly. And I think Roman needs that to change his character, and I think Bayley needs that to change hers, because the whole hugging gimmick and the little inflatable people isn't doing anything for her. No, it's not. Like, they desperately need to turn her heel as soon as they can, because she needs to have like a different version of her character, or she's gonna basically go the way of like Tyler Breeze and soon just be a comedy act. But yeah, you got anything else, or are we done? Browns are gonna win the Super Bowl.
Browns are. Stay tuned next week for the reason why the Browns are going to win the Super Bowl. I am James.
I'm Adam.
This is the Pup List, episode 2. That's all I'm doing.